Good evening, welcome to my channel. My name is David Okun. I've been talking about the cost of living. The cost of living. Now looking at Jeff Bezos, the third wealthiest man on earth, and he is an American. He actually is a multi-billionaire, and I've been looking at Jeff Bezos in terms of his wealth, but I'm also looking at Jeff Bezos in terms of the cost of living. The cost of living is about poverty, and Jeff Bezos is about wealth. So you can actually look at Jeff Bezos to see how rich he is in as an investor in capitalism, and a man of his stature and status also investing in the global economy is responsible for the cost of living, as we have been discussing. And welcome to this channel. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you like the channel, if you like the video, or click like and leave a comment below, and click a notification bell so that you don't miss any new video. And now we're looking at Jeff Bezos, and always said if you are actually concerned about the cost of living, then one of the things you do is to look at people who make money, like rich people, their story. If you listen to their story, it become part of the solution to the problem of the cost of living. And this is precisely why I decided to look at Jeff Bezos, his story from childhood. Jeff Bezos, if you follow the videos I've actually posted, if you view them, you will discover that Jeff Bezos is just an ordinary human being who did extraordinary things. If he can do extraordinary things as an ordinary person, so anybody in the world can do the same. And we may do things differently based on our circumstances, on our backgrounds, but nevertheless, with the right mindset, with the right discipline and effort, and also chances, we can actually get out of poverty. Which poverty is actually the problem to do with the cost of living. Cost of living is felt by those who are actually suffering poverty. So we look at different dimensions of Jeff Bezos. We look at different perspectives. I'm now looking at his public image, and as a multi-billionaire, you can imagine he rely on what people think about him, and he makes and loses money based on how people think about him. His public image is really important, and I've got a photograph right in front of me here. I'm looking at it, and 2016 in June, on June the 26th, 20, June the 14th, 2020, 2014. The caption says Bezos at a naturalization ceremony on June 2016, and journalist Neely Bowles of the New York Times has described the public persona and personality of Jeff Bezos, that of a brilliant and mysterious, cold-blooded corporate titan. Leave a comment below if you know Jeff Bezos. And journalist, somebody called Nelly Bowles. If you know Nelly Bowles, a journalist, he worked for the New York Times. If you know anything about the New York Times, let me know. And I describe the public persona and personality of Jeff Bezos as that of a brilliant but mysterious and cold-blooded corporate titan. If somebody is cold-blooded, leave a comment below. What does it mean? He is actually very calculating and very schematic. and he worked with a plan, and he's really very steely in his determination and his pursuit. Is so focused on what he wanted to achieve. He's ruthless also. If you say somebody is cold-blooded, corporate titan, my titan is like a giant, like something really huge, like the Titanic. Titanic, the ship which sank in the ocean decades, many years ago. During the during the 1990s, Bezos earned a reputation for relentlessly pursuing Amazon forward, often at the expense of public charity and social welfare. And these actually illustrate his tenacity, um, his determination to achieve what he wanted to achieve at all costs. So this commentary is saying Jeff Bezos, during the 1990s, he earned a reputation for relentlessly pushing Amazon forward. Amazon is his business, the biggest business empire he has is Amazon, which features in this video, and in the other video I have also recorded, and often at the expense of public charity and social welfare. Like I said in the other videos about capitalism and the people who actually run capitalism, like Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is actually at the center of capitalism, and people like him are actually the gods of capitalism. And Jeff Bezos does not give his money to people, to charity, to individuals who might need it. He doesn't give money to the poor or anything like that. Social welfare is like what the government does, giving help to people who need help, like giving benefit. People like Jeff Bezos, the reason I'm actually talking about him is a sample of multi-billionaire who are concerned with making money and not actually thinking about anybody else. And uh, unless the government actually help people who cannot help themselves, if the world is left for individuals like Jeff Bezos, um, humanity can go extinct because you're not going to help anybody. So I think this material is quite accurate, and and um, and some people actually have been commentating. They say journalist, his name is Mark O'Connell. He criticized Bezos as being relentless, a customer focus. Just Bezos is customer focus, and it's a very small. It's very. I mean, his customer focus is small in terms of impact on humanity as a whole. A sentiment technologies Tim O'Reilly agreed with him. So this is an opinion about Jeff Bezos that is relentless. Um, um, his demeanor, Jeff Bezos' demeanor, being criticized by Mark O'Connell, a journalist, is a relentless and customer is relentless as customer focus. Is very small. Is very small in terms of impact on humanity as a whole. So humanity, if somebody is to be impacting on humanity, then such a person should be actually big. It is big. Somebody really big as a personality. Is a grown up. Is an adult. Is somebody you know with big personality, somebody bigger than life sometimes is described. But Jeff Bezos is subscribed by Mark O'Connell as being in a critical term. Is been criticized as being small, very small actually, in terms of impact on humanity. What he does, according to Mark O'Connell, impacts very little on humanity and humanity as a whole. Uh, this is to say that um, every time Mark Bezos impacts on humanity, he impacts on a certain section of human stock, human kind of a class of humans. He doesn't actually work for everyone. He is selective. He only focus on certain individuals. He doesn't impact on humanity as a whole. I find that sentence to be very extraordinary because I've always suspected multi-billionaire, I mean, wealthy people to be very selfish, if I may say in a more simple word. Um, so, Mark O'Connell was actually supported by somebody called Tim 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 O'Reilly, who agreed with Mark O'Connell. Um, um, so this sentiment was actually supported by a technologist, Tim O'Reilly. Their motive is not known. I don't think they like Jeff Bezos very much because along the way, someone like Jeff Bezos will have made a lot of enemies along his passage. In as much as there is some bias in this comment, I believe it is true of actually most multi-billionaire, a lot of rich people I know to be really selfish and not giving of anything of theirs. I think there's always something very weird about them. His business practices projected a public image of prudence and parsimony with his own wealth and that of Amazon. And so his public image is closely associated with his business practices, which projects actually a public image of prudence and parsimony. And always, this is always parsimony with his own wealth and that of Amazon. And so and so he is closely associated with his business and wealth. That's how people see him. And without his wealth and the wealth of Amazon, his personal image actually is hard to distinguish. I mean, to identify or even distinguish. Bezos was a multi-billionaire who drove a 1996 Honda Accord. 1996 Accord being actually an ordinary car, normally driven by poor, ordinary people of the world. Mark Bezos actually drives Honda Accord, in 1996 Honda Accord, which is actually very ordinary. Most wealthy people are not expected to drive such a car. But this material tells me that is what Mark Bezos do, what he does throughout the early 2000s. He was perceived to be geeky or nerdy. And if you comment below if you know if somebody who is geeky. Maybe you play geeks like a comedian. And he's a nerd. A nerd is somebody really which is quite almost retarded in terms of social aptitude. It's almost a retarded some kind of person. It's like really very awkward. It's almost like um, like a human midget almost in terms of his social arguments. Play gigs like almost like a comedian in his demeanor. I think that's what it means. Leave a comment below. Let me know. Bezos was seen by some as needlessly quantitative and data driven. He believes in quantitative analysis, in numbers, in statistics, in evidence and data. This is actually a reminiscent of capitalists generally. People who are actually obsessed with business, with money, with you know, uh, with privatization, with capitalism. Capitalism is about money. It's about wealth. They always think about data. They want to measure everything. Even the value of life is measured in terms of data and quantity. How much something is in terms of maybe how much money, how much wealth. So if something actually makes profit, then it is valuable. For example, I'm just giving an example. If he makes money, if something actually is going to make money, it's valuable, and probably only value the understanding. This perception was detailed by Alan Dutchman, who subscribed him as talking in lists and enumerating the criteria in order of importance for every decision he has made. And there are individuals making comments about Jeff Bezos, and it's a perception, given on him, and people like Alan Dutchman describing him as taking in lists, talking. He talks in lists. He's a very listy person. He lists everything. He writes everything in lists. It's very hierarchical. It's somebody who look at life in a linear way. It's a a top-down individual. It's almost acting like a dictator. It's very regimented. It's like a military dictatorship. So if you are actually you look at life in you talk in lists. You list things. Everything is in list. And enumeration, you have to really analyze everything to kind of like make kind of like kind of you need to really look at things physically almost to kind of like understand and using such criteria and ordering things in terms of importance for every decision he has made. That is actually his method. It's very methodic, it's very hierarchical, it's very orderly. Select amounts of his persona have drawn controversy and public attention. And notably, journalist Brad Stone wrote a book that described Bezos as a demanding boss as well as hyper competitive, and opined that Bezos perhaps bet the biggest on the internet than anywhere else, and that anyone else. He is so liking of the internet, and Bezos has been characterized as a notoriously optimistic CEO who operates with little concern for obstacles and externalities. So he takes risks. He's also optimistic because he has money. If he loses billions of pounds, he will still remain a billionaire. He can afford to take risks. So as a CEO, he operates with little concern for obstacles and externalities. Like his risk assessment, he sometimes just spend money. It doesn't matter if he lose it or gain it. And that is also the case with multi-billionaires, because if they lose money, the government will give them more to spend. We have seen it with the credit crunch. The bankers were so reckless with public money, with the wealth of the British people. They destroyed the global economy, and the government rushed to give them more money. They're like little spoiled children. And that's actually the behavior of multi-billionaires, because they're there to waste money. They destroy money the way they like. They destroy wealth as much as they like. But they create wealth, but part of their function is also to create as much wealth as they produce. And the rest of the world picks up the pieces. And some people also die because of their recklessness. They don't care about anything. They do whatever they like. They're just like gods of the world. The government actually is behind them, and they just do anything they like. Yeah, this is Jeff Bezos. Leave a comment below. During the early 2010s, Bezos solidified his reputation for aggressive business practices, and his public image began to shift. So we see aggressiveness. You stop at nothing. You are so aggressive. You practice what you preach, and you live up to your reputation. You fulfill your promise. If you say you're going to do something, you will do it. And this impacted on his public image, and actually changing the public opinion, what people see about him, beginning to change. Bezos started to wear tailored clothing. He weight train. He weight train, pursued a regimented diet, and began to freely spend his money. So he did actually train. He trained to gain, to manage his weight, like a soldier. So when you talk about regimentation, it's like a soldier. It's like militarism. It's like a military approach to industry, trade, business. It is so straight-jacketed. It's like a dictator, an industrial dictator, actually. It's like a capitalistic monarch who rule by an iron fist. So he began to freely spend his money. He just spent his money. He wastes money. He creates a lot of money and wastes it and throw it away. Actually, his passion, his behavior is to create wealth and throw wealth away. He create a lot of wealth and set fire on it. He burn everything, so that nobody touches his money. He create wealth for sports. A rich person like him, his obsession is to create wealth. He creates wealth like there is no tomorrow, and he burned the whole thing. He destroyed everything he created. So, in as much as he is creative and building, he's also so destructive. And so there's a zero sum where the Bezos of their generation are actually going nowhere. They're taking the world nowhere. They create wealth and they also throw it away. They are so futile in their enterprises. They are very, what do I say? They're fleeting. They're here today, gone tomorrow. And I should say also that they are very vain in their life. Their life is nothing. They are worth nothing. Except, even the money they make is actually nothing. It's worthless. Because it's not, they don't even value it. They don't even value people. They don't value the wealth they have. They don't value their life. They work like slaves. They don't even rest. Like they say, there is no peace for the wicked. So the wicked billionaires of the world are actually slaves. They're prisoners in their own cells and in their own greed for power, in their own excesses, in their own insanity. They are actually psychopaths who only think of money. They think of wealth, and they can destroy the world and the people of the world in pursuit of one thing, wealth and power, and that is actually the essence of capitalism. And I said this before in the other video, and I'll be saying it as I go along. I will be making references to people like Jeff Bezos, as good as they seem to be creating wealth. They destroy it as well. They're destructive. In the end, how you finish is more important than how you start. You start as a novel, well disciplined, somebody you can admire, and you end up in the trash like a dead dog, lying, stupid around, dirt, lying on the dirt on the street, dead and worthless. So when we live in a world where we think money is everything, money is more important than people, we make money and we don't even care about people, then we are worthless. If you comment below if you think what you think about, people who only think about money and think of nothing else. So his physical appearance increased the public's perception of him as a symbolically dominant figure in business and in popular culture, wherein he has been parodied as an enterprising supervillain. Now, if you're a supervillain, it means like you are actually a wrongdoer. You are antithetical. You're wrong. Since 2017, he has been portrayed as Kylie Mooney and Steve Carell on Saturday Night Live, usually as an undercutting, domineering figure. So these are some of the adjectives used to describe Jeff Bezos. In May 2024, the International Trade Union Confederation named Bezos the world's worst boss, with his General Secretary Sharon Barrow saying Jeff Bezos represents the inhumanity of employers who are promoting the North American corporate model. While in 2019, Harvard Business Review, which ranked Bezos as the best performing CEO for 4 years in a row since 2014, did not rank him even in the top 100, citing Amazon's relatively low ESG, environmental, social, and governance scores that reflect risks created by working conditions and employment policy, data security, and antitrust issues. So he is such a bad person by what reviewers think of him, and such as seen here by the comment. And in 2014, the material says International Trade Union Confederation actually named Bezos the world's worst boss. And of all the bosses in the world, the Trade Union Confederation named Bezos is the worst of all the employers in the world. And somebody called Sharon Barrow, he is the General Secretary of the International Trade Union Confederation. Sharon Barrows, he said, Jeff Bezos represent the inhumanity of employers who are promoting the North American corporate model. Now, the words of inhumanity is the opposite of humanity. If you talk about humanity, it means you're actually humane, you are human. If you are actually inhumane, it means you are actually an animal. An animal probably is even better than you because you're a very dangerous person. And this actually by contradiction. And these kind of employers, such as Jeff Bezos, are the ones promoting North American corporate model. They are the role model, which is actually a terrible It's a terrible prospect. So also in 2019, Harvard Business Review, the same ranked Jeff Bezos as being the best performing CEO for 4 years in a row since 2014. It changed its mind. It did not rank him even in the top 100, citing Amazon's relatively low ESG, environment, social, and governance scores. The scores were so low that it reflects risk created by working conditions and employment policies. So they criticize the working condition of employer are really appalling, and the environmental policy is really, really detestable, and the data security is so um, 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 actually so bad, so to speak, and the antitrust issues. These are all the negatives you can see, and it's unsurprising because actually this is actually typical of people who only think about wealth and nothing else. They don't even think about themselves. They don't think about their children. They don't think about their family. All they think about is money and wealth. They become like a human zombie. They lose their souls to wealth. They become like ghosts. They become very inhumane. They look like wild animals. They are a terror to society with power. They behave like total psychopaths. People who can kill and actually dance, the mock dance over their victims. The savages. They are savages because they have lost their soul to greed. They are so greedy that they're so obsessed and they're so psychopathic. They are so mentally insane that they only think about wealth and money. Too much of anything is dangerous. You don't want to be in poverty. You don't want to lose your humanity in the pursuit of wealth. You would rather be poor and human and enjoy peace. For these people, they are actually like the wicked. There's no peace for the wicked. The like of Bezos, actually, because you have to chase wealth. At night, you dream about wealth. It's like a horror story. It's like a curse. It's like a horrible obsession with wealth. Learn how to make money to create wealth, but learn to be respectful to yourself. Try to be human. Because you are human, it doesn't help acting like things. You're not things. You're more than money. You're more than wealth. Even with an empty pocket, your life cannot be measured mathematically by wealth. You cannot put statistics in the quality of life of a human being. That is something we need to know while remembering what I said in the other video in terms of what I call the cultural economy. You can have all the wealth in the world and you will be a rotten dog lying dead by the roadside. Nothing. You are nothing. Even if you are a billionaire, you are nobody. People may worship you because they are actually ignorant of the worthlessness that you have become. Because the value of life is measured in terms of humanity. It is not measured in terms of inhumanity. Like we see in this example indicated about some of the wealthiest people in the world who are actually creating more problems than solving. Because the solution is now that they use their wealth to prevent other people from accessing wealth. They behave now like financial terrorists, economic terrorists, okay, like global terrorists. They use money. Money is their weapon. Money and wealth is their guns and bombs. They use it to terrorize society, to terrorize their employees, to terrorize even government. Government panic if a rich man sneezes because he is so rich. He is so spoiled like a common brat. And that's what you get in a society depraved, only thinking of money, the capitalism, the wrath of capitalism. And that is why I say, if we don't actually look again to see how to deal with capitalism, we are going to be in serious trouble as human species. Now, people respect people, even poor people respect wealth. You're supposed to respect humanity. Respect people. Respect yourself, even if you are poor. Have some dignity. People may abuse you, but you have to focus on the truth. You are the truth. Regardless, you may be poor, but you are the truth. You don't wait until you are a multi-billionaire to be rich, to be happy. You are rich in yourself as a human being. You are actually worth more than $1 billion or even $1 trillion. Nobody in life has the right to diminish humanity. A human being cannot be diminished, being actually compared and contrasted with wealth. We are not wealth. We are not things. We are not nature. We are not the environment. We are human. You see, we are the best with or without money. Better with money, but we need to maintain our integrity. We need to focus on ourselves. We have to respect our humanity. We have to respect our wealth. As actually, wealth is our servants. We are not the servant of our money and wealth. And this is the message of this material. And for those who are watching, subscribe to my channel and support this channel if you think it is useful. And also, look up to yourself and share the videos if you like the video. Click like and share with your friends. And we look at Bezos. The material concludes to say his relative lack of philanthropy compared to other billionaires has drawn a negative response from the public since 2016. He's a philanthropist, and philanthropy is actually fake. Because they actually pretend. They want to show off. They actually hide money behind philanthropy. They hide their true colors. Their gift is actually a gift not worthy. They are not worthy. The gift they give is actually a tempting trap. I mean, if they really want to help, then they would go to Africa. They would actually be addressing the cost of living. We don't need philanthropy from these people. If they are really serious about transforming society, let them invest in social welfare. Let them actually invest in education of the general public, people who don't have money. Let them do that. Let them build property for everyone on earth who are homeless. Let them do that. Let them go onto the street. And I don't want to see anybody in America on the street. I don't want to see anybody on drugs because of negligence by the state, by capitalism. You see, the street and the rotten status of the street is actually the product of capitalism, which only teaches people to think about money. You see politicians, especially the right-wing politicians now, these people are actually so cheap. How they behave, the way they say, the things they say, what they do, the way they cause suffering for the people of Britain, of America, of Europe, of the developed world, of Africa. You go to Africa, you see danger. Everybody is now so corrupt in Africa that you don't really want to know about Africa. Africa is such a beautiful continent. And look at Africa. Look at people in power. Look at how foolish they are. Look at how they are destroying Africa. The African dictators. They are black people. I'm black. I'm not talking about Europe. I'm not talking about America because they are white. This is not a black thing. This is not a white thing. This is actually a human thing. And that's why I'm trying to talk. And those who want to listen, listen. If you don't want to listen, go somewhere else and do what you want to do. I only need 1 or 2 people to work with. Because we are the masters of our life. Nobody is supposed to rule over us. Nobody should say anything. I mean, nobody should tell us what to do. We are free. We have our life. Our life belongs to us. We have the last say how the matter ends with our lives. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what power you have. You got this power through corruption. You destroyed the world. You have been actually very evil. You have been fighting around the world. You have been looting since the beginning of record history. Since time began, you wrong people are actually taking over the world. They're ruling over people. They are very dark. They are very evil. They fight in Africa. They fight in Europe. And they loot wealth. And they parade wealth. They destroy life. And we cannot allow this to happen because it has to end. We have to actually become humans again. We have to say no. We are not going to go quietly. We are humans. We are here to inherit the earth. And we are not going to get some form of alien species coming to destroy the world. Because if you don't behave like a human being, then you must be from another planet. Because if you don't respect people, you don't respect yourself, you don't respect money, you don't respect power, you don't respect wealth, you are wrong. And you cannot be allowed. And let me say this, you will not win. You may have power now, you may have wealth, you may be horrible people, but don't deceive yourself, you're not going to win because humanity will triumph in the end. You may oppress them. You may even threaten them to, not to speak. You see government policies now. You see what they are doing. Threatening, putting laws, preventing people to express themselves. Laws, government are putting laws to prevent people from demonstration in the name of national security. For who? These are the people who actually rob us of our lands. In Europe, in America, and now in Africa. They rob us of our land. They rob us of our livelihood. And they're trying to kill us. Anybody who takes away your land is trying to kill you. And it's happening in Africa now. It has happened in Europe. I'm not lying. If you have land, then you join the landed and have your land with them. Because they stole our land in Europe. They stole our land in Africa, in America, in Asia, everywhere. The ruling class, the people who rule over us, have stolen our property. They have stolen our land. And they're abusing us. They're oppressing us. They're causing us to fight wars we shouldn't fight. They're killing us at wars. They're doing all sorts of things to destroy our life, but we will survive. And we will win. And the only way to win, the best way to win is to respect yourself, respect others. You cannot really begin to speak when you don't realize that respect for yourself, respect even for the monsters, because they're humans. They may be monsters, but they're human. We have to respect them. We tell the truth, but we say it respectfully. They're humans. Jeff Bezos is human. We have to respect Jeff Bezos. Otherwise, our causes is false. We cannot say respect, and we don't respect other people. Let us respect everybody. It doesn't matter how monstrous they are. They have actually offended us because they looted our wealth through ruthlessness. Billionaires like Jeff Bezos, their behavior, the way they treat their employee. Show this on the news. The issue is now in Congress in America, in Parliament. They are discussing Jeff Bezos. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't think they can do anything about it. It's so powerful, and it is actually the state of America, the government of America, allowed the basis of their age to rule over people who shouldn't be ruled over by individuals like Jeff Bezos of Amazon. It's the fault of the government, and now they're turning around and trying to solve the problem they created. You see, if you give power in the end of the few at the expense of the many, who are they? Why do they have so much power without the government controlling it? The government took our land. They took off our country. They said they're going to run the country on our behalf. And they give it to the few. And leave out, exclude the many. And that is the problem created by capitalism. Jeff Bezos is the brainchild of capitalism. He's a seed sown of destruction of humanity, using wealth for the purpose other than to protect humanity. Thank you for watching this video, and we're going to continue looking at Jeff Bezos, and although looking at this material, he has been known to publicly contest claims made in critical articles and exemplified in 2015 when he sent a memo to employees denouncing the New York Times piece. That is expected. He denies. They live in denial. It's a cultural thing. They live in denial. They never tell the truth. People are not stupid. They live in denial. And Jeff Bezos was taken before he was actually dragged into the in America, in the USA recently. Jeff Bezos was actually he was actually ordered to come into before the Congress, and he refused. He was trying to avoid it. Actually, there's something called subpoena in America. I think it's subpoena, which actually an instruction by the authorities, by the legal authorities, for you to appear. So he appeared. He didn't answer any question at all. I saw it on the TV. He didn't answer a question being asked. And these individuals are trained. They behave like wizards and witches. They don't answer questions. I see politicians every day. I see people in power every day. They don't answer any question, believe me or not. They are like thieves. I mean, if you do something wrong and you don't actually admit to it, you lie. You tell lies all the time. The ruling class are trained to lie, and they're teaching British people, the Americans, the Europeans, citizens of the world, they're teaching them to lie. Corruption in Africa is telling. You don't want to be in a country like Africa. It's so violent. Africa is such a bad continent. People are so liars. And it is time it stops. We need to stop. If we don't stop, we are going to go extinct. We cannot do the wrong thing and think we are going to succeed. Let us not fool ourselves. There are good people out there who know the truth has to be pursued. Don't stop speaking, but respect yourself. Even the monsters who are now actually, they are not many, but they have taken all the wealth of the world. They use the wealth as lethal weapon to destroy the world. Then they are going to destroy themselves because they are psychopaths. Somebody who lives so destructively, so as to destroy even himself or herself, is a psychopath. And I see these people as completely lunatic. I mean, They're complete lunatics. They are so dangerous that, I mean, the sooner they realize how dangerous they are and to stop, to start respecting themselves first. And I'll say this at the outset of constructing this program. I pointed out to what I call the cultural economy. We need to really look into the cultural economy. We need to respect ourselves. It's a survival strategy for the rich and for the poor. We are all in this together. This is not a battle between the rich and the poor. This is actually a battle for the survival of humanity. And respect is the key. You go to government departments, the way people are disrespectful. They pretend to be professionals. They're so disrespectful. They don't tell the truth. They're always lying, hiding behind professionalism. They are so rude. They don't respect you. They don't respect themselves. It has to stop. For us to survive as humanity, we have to respect ourselves and respect other people. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you. See you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.